All right, good morning, everybody. I'm yesterday, I got a request for a wedding that was fraudulent. Somebody who was just calling me out on a practice that I openly admit to, and I don't see any problem with. I'm gonna check with Thumbtack.com just to make sure about this, but I'm just trying to, as I have on videos before, talking about the wedding industry. I made a series of videos on the wedding industry, just discussing this question of, who is legal to perform weddings in the state of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has very complicated laws about weddings. Now, nobody is excluded from performing weddings in Pennsylvania. It's just a question of which weddings they can perform and how they can perform them using what kind of license. Now, Pennsylvania offers two different types of licenses. They offer a self-uniting license and the regular license. The regular license is used by an officiant that's recognized by the state. And the self-uniting license does not require any officiant at all. Now, using a self-uniting license, though, you can hire an officiant that is not recognized by the state because, let's say someone is a professional officiant, but their status is not recognized by the state, so these people can use a self-uniting license, sign as a witness. You need two witnesses to sign if you're using a self-uniting license. I've never actually seen a self-uniting license, but I know that they are offered both in Pennsylvania and in Colorado. Those are the two states that offer them. Pennsylvania is because it was founded by William Penn, who was a Quaker, and the Quaker Church does not have clergy. And so, non-clergy people can witness. The way a Quaker wedding works is that all the people, it's actually quite similar in a way to a Jewish wedding, because technically a rabbi is not the one who is performing the wedding, but rather is the one who's making sure the wedding is done properly and that these people are eligible to be wed, in a sense. That's really what the job of the rabbi is in a Jewish wedding. However, the state gives rabbis, just about every state gives rabbis the right to perform weddings as clergy. And so they're performing. It really depends on the state exactly how we approach this. Like, some people have said that in Virginia, which is where I started 10 years ago. This month is when I started my wedding business. In Virginia, when you're signing up as clergy registered with the state, they're basically deputizing you as a magistrate to perform weddings. That's essentially what's going on. So, these are just various things that we can see in the wedding. So Pennsylvania, like we said, so there are various ways that you can be legal in Pennsylvania. This is what I really want to talk about, because every time I write that to someone in Pennsylvania, I mention that I am legal in Pennsylvania because I serve as an associate rabbi at the congregation where I serve. So and the congregation, gives me permission to perform weddings as the associate rabbi, and we are, restricted in what type of weddings we can do, but we can perform weddings for non-Jewish clients if the state recognizes it. They're not Jewish weddings, they're basically civil or non-denominational weddings. Now, in Pennsylvania, the law is as follows. If you're a judge or a mayor, you can perform civil weddings. If you are clergy and you do not serve a congregation, so then one of either the bride or the groom, or I guess whatever, one of the partners has to be a member of that denomination, and the wedding is performed within the laws of that denomination. Obviously, as an Orthodox Jew, in that case, let's say if I were to perform, a Jewish wedding, if it's a halachically valid wedding, so then it would be good, according to the laws of Pennsylvania, even if I don't serve a congregation. We're going to pause this. All right. Baruch Hashem. Alright, so we were talking about weddings in Pennsylvania. How can you be legal to perform weddings in Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania? Some people claim that's because it's a Commonwealth state. That's why things are whatever. That's why the laws are more complicated. It's not exactly true. Although it's interesting, because really this term Commonwealth doesn't really mean anything. We have the Commonwealth. Each state defines their Commonwealth status that uses this term Commonwealth. Each state uses it differently. So in Virginia, for example, if you're a Commonwealth, the way they define as a Commonwealth is that is that the state, that these cities are not part of any counties. You're either a county or a city in Virginia. So and that's what it means in Virginia. In Pennsylvania, it doesn't mean that, because cities are located in counties. The only not really exception, but sometimes these bigger counties, for example, there are certain counties and cities that are just basically the same, and they don't have separate city government and county government. For example, Philadelphia, for a while they did have a separate county government and a separate city government, but they would seem to be superfluous, and so the county of Philadelphia stopped existing for all intents and purposes. But I want to get back to who can perform weddings in Pennsylvania. So again, we said, if you're I just took a 15-minute break and it still kept going, but if you're if you're a judge or a mayor, obviously you can do weddings. If I'll first say the ones that are no question and have no complications in them. If you're a judge or or a mayor or something, by the government, then you're good. That goes without saying. Now the next one is clergy. Now clergy is where it gets complicated. So clergy, and obviously it goes without saying, if you have the self-uniting license, you can do whatever you want. You could hire someone, you want someone professional, or you could just do it yourself, or whatever you want. Just got to get two of your friends or whatever, So, but, now clergy is where it gets a little complicated. Now, to perform any wedding, so then you have to be clergy who is duly ordained and serves a regularly established congregation. It says priest, minister, rabbi, or obviously it would be imam or whatever else. I guess, Hindus, they call priests also. So of any regularly established congregation, which generally the way it's understood is that if you serve a real church or synagogue or whatever that meets on a regular basis, and you're the pastor of the church, the rabbi of the synagogue, the priest of the church, whatever, the imam of the mosque, and it would seem that if you have a title of an associate pastor as well. I have seen letters going out from courts that said, you have to regularly preach at the pulpit, or minister some form at the pulpit, in order to have this, they don't want seems like they don't just want churches to say, whoever wants to sign up here will give you a title as associate pastor, like me, I'm the associate rabbi of my congregation. I mean, I was senior rabbi at congregations in the past, but as far as this law goes, it's what your current position is. It's not about past, if you were retired or you're laid off or you're fired or whatever, or you quit. That doesn't help you. What helps you is what are you currently doing. So it would seem also maybe someone like a deacon or something like that perhaps would also be, certainly like in the Catholic Church, where deacons can perform weddings, and you're a deacon in your church, that's fine. It's just the issue of, and the same thing, you could open your own church, you could open your own, there's nothing stopping you from doing that, other than if you really want to or not, you rent out a storefront or something, and you open a church, and you have services every Sunday. Then you could do weddings in Pennsylvania, even no matter who ordained you, even if you're self-ordained or you're not ordained at all, that's just, that's actually fine. Just the question is, these other things that are kind of iffy. But it's very clear, if you serve a congregation in your congregation. I once spoke to a clerk about, they said, does your congregation, for example, some towns in Pennsylvania, they'll ask the denomination, and so what if I'm doing a wedding? I'll write, I'm a Jewish rabbi, but but the couple are Christians, or it's a non-denominational ceremony or something like that. But because I don't want to misrepresent that this couple are Jewish, just because they were married by a rabbi, so that's why I wrote that, like in, I think, Northampton, a place like that, they have these. Most places in Pennsylvania don't have that. But these are things I've found. So in any event, excuse me. So, but again, if you serve the congregation says you could do weddings, you're good. So me, I teach it. I preach when the rabbi's away. I lead services on a pretty regular basis, and I give classes on a regular basis. And really every Saturday I introduce the rabbi. That's something more like a presidential, not really a clergy job, but and there I could I'm providing some ministerial services and doing that by announcing the times of service and things like that. So there, I certainly, I have a title in the synagogue and part of the Beis Din. We do conversions, things like that. So, based on that, I would say, and I check this with different clerks. One said, yeah, it's absolutely no issue, and the other one said, yeah, no, I mean, as long as the congregation gives you permission to perform these weddings. I said, well, the congregation regulates what kind of weddings I can do and cannot do, and these are weddings that I can do in accordance to the laws of my congregation. So basically, that's how it is. So I know. So anyway, yesterday someone was harassing me, saying, stop blackballing Universal Life Church, and I'm not blackballing Universal Life Church. I'm totally supportive of the freedom of religion of the Universal Life Church. I have no issue with them. It's just, I want to make sure that people follow the laws. It's a pretty simple thing. So, that's a pretty easy thing to talk about, meaning if you're ordained by Universal Life Church. Now, I'm not really blackballing Universal Life Church, and it's not me, it's the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that has their laws, and we're following the laws of Pennsylvania. That's what's really what we're talking about here, So, what I answered, I said, it doesn't matter. You could be ordained by the Pope, or you could be ordained by the Dalai Lama, or the Chief Rabbi of Israel, or whoever you want to say. And if you're, if you're not serving a congregation, you cannot do quote-unquote non-denominational or non-religious weddings in Pennsylvania. Now, if you're a Catholic priest and you're retired or whatever, yes, you can do Catholic weddings. But you can't do, weddings, sanctioned by the Catholic Church. But you can't do non-denominational weddings. As opposed to, and the same thing. So what if you're ordained by Universal Life Church? So, I mean, this is something that could work if you want to get one of your friends, not make a business out of it, but you want to get one of your friends ordained by Universal Life Church and do your wedding. I mean, first of all, in Pennsylvania, you could just get a self-uniting license, and that's fine. You need 2 friends instead of 1. But let's say you only have 1 friend, you don't have 2 friends. So you have the 1 friend, you have them ordained by Universal Life Church. So what you could do is and this has been, confirmed by Pennsylvania, is you can get, one of you convert to Universal Life Church, and Universal Life Church doesn't have any rules about marriage, really. It's just, you can get married, and that's it. So then you're good, but like this person feels like they're so privileged because they type their name onto a website. That's like if me, I paid $30 to, I think, Universal Life Church or one of these to get a Doctor of Divinity. So I could put it on my business card or whatever. So I could, because, rabbi, maybe, not everybody wants to be married by rabbi, but still when I fill out the marriage licenses, I put rabbi, but in advertising, so I don't put rabbi, so I put, I could put doctor or whatever, and I've used doctor sometimes, once in a while, when necessary, and then it's a title I can legally use. But then for me to go and say, well, you should give me a job, as a professor because I have a Doctor of Divinity. Well, no, I can say maybe I could say I should get a job because I went to school and I've studied and all these things, but not based on a Doctor of Divinity from Universal Life Church. So it's the same thing. Pennsylvania has these laws. They have the laws, I know I'm rambling on about this. It's a weird thing that, this person is harassing me because I'm just telling people, if you want to hire a Universal Life Church minister, you got to make sure that you're doing things right. Because the other thing in Pennsylvania is they don't even tell you there's an issue. It's not an issue really until it's an issue, So to go and hire someone from Universal Life Church, why would you go and do that? The better thing to do is, and if this person wants to have a wedding business in Pennsylvania, the ordination is not the issue. The issue is, do they work for a regularly established congregation? So establish a congregation, go rent out a storefront and call it, whatever kind of church you want. Get your 501c3 or whatever, get it established, and then you can do weddings. Doesn't matter who ordained you. But don't go, and if I go, don't tell me that I'm a fraud because I'm warning people against fraud when you're really a fraud. That's just dumb. That's just ignorant and wrong. And I'm not even saying don't work with the Universal Life Church minister. You really like this minister, you want to hire them, you like what they have to offer, beautiful, go ahead. But if you're going to do that, the best bet, you could either, one of you converts to Universal Life Church, or which doesn't take anything. I mean, you can, being ordained by Universal Life Church is probably just as easy as converting to Universal Life Church. Universal Life Church can't just go and claim, well, everybody is automatically a member of Universal Life Church. That's not something they can do. Just the same, I can't go and claim that everybody is automatically a Noahide, even though it's, in my religion, it's true. But if I didn't serve a congregation, I couldn't go and say, well, I'm performing weddings for Noahides in accordance with Jewish law. I wouldn't do that. Maybe I could argue it, maybe I could try to make a case, but I wouldn't make a business out of that. If someone was like a real Noahide and that was their thing, and they, whatever they want to call it, Noahide or Ger Toshav or whatever they want to call it, and that's really their thing, and they want to be married by a rabbi, then I would feel comfortable getting, doing the weddings in Pennsylvania without serving a congregation. But as is right now, I just I would only do weddings, outside of my faith, where both are outside my faith in Pennsylvania, as long as I'm serving a congregation. That's just because I want to make sure I'm following the law. All right. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. And again, I'm not blackballing Universal Life Church. I'm just saying, if you want to, I'm just educating people. If you want to hire someone from Universal Life Church, get a self-uniting license, or convert, or make sure that they work for a congregation, or they have their own, and also this whole thing of just saying, well, Universal Life Church in in California, recognizes you, like this is kind of what they pull off in New York City, and all right, New York City has decided that they're going to accept that. So if Pennsylvania decides they're going to accept something like that, that's fine. But until they make it clear in their laws, because it's really not clear in Pennsylvania laws. So it's better to go with someone that's clearly legal. Don't play games, because you're gonna regret it in the future. That's all right. Well, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. I'd like to talk more about this. It's just and again, it's not an attack on Universal Life Church, and also people have to understand, because I've heard people say Universal Life Church, we have to defend our freedom of religion here. Now, the freedom of religion of Universal Life Church to perform weddings is not an issue of religious freedom. You cannot claim that your religious freedom is being denied, meaning if the religious freedom issue with Universal Life Church is, do they have the right to ordain ministers without going through any training? Do they have the right to and can states decide that they will recognize such an ordination? And Pennsylvania doesn't deny that ordination. The whole thing with Pennsylvania has nothing to do with where you're ordained. In essence, what it really has to do with is, are you serving a congregation, or are you serving people of your own faith if you're not serving a congregation? That's it. So like I said again, Universal Life Church cannot go and claim that everybody is a member of Universal Life Church for the sake of the laws of Pennsylvania for people who don't serve congregations. But you can take your Universal Life Church ordination and open your own church, synagogue, mosque, whatever, call it whatever you want. I mean, I don't think a lot of people will take you seriously, but these days, maybe yes, maybe no, I mean, to me, I don't see a difference between, as far as my religious views, a Reformed rabbi and a rabbi ordained by Universal Life Church. But for the sake of the laws of Pennsylvania, if that Reformed rabbi is serving a Reformed temple, well, then they're legal to do any weddings. These are the, that's just, you gotta know the laws, Alright, well, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and thank you for watching. Alright, God bless.